Hello guys. So yeah, it's raining. I can't believe it, because when I left this morning I checked the weather forecast and it said it was going to be bright as sunshine all day, and bright as sunshine, well, not bright all night, but nice and dry through the night, and then bright sunshine tomorrow as well. No rain forecast at all. Hence I came to work on the bike. I'm now driving home from work and it is absolutely pissing it down. Bloody English weather. Oh well, never mind. Make the most of a bad situation. I thought I'd do a video giving a few safety tips on riding in bad weather. This is going to be the first of a series. Going to do different weather conditions for each video, and I'll just be running through things that you should consider, precautions you can take, that kind of thing. So obviously the best course of action in bad weather is to avoid riding at all if you can, but if you can't, or if like me you just get caught in it, which this being Britain is highly likely, especially at certain times of the year, what can you do and what do you need to look out for? So let's just negotiate this roundabout. Can we go? No. So the first problem when it's raining, particularly if it's raining hard, is visibility. Because obviously, as motorcyclists, we do not have windscreen wipers. Therefore, we have no way of dissipating the rain from our visors. Now, you can get, on some gloves, they do have on the thumb on one of them, you do get like a little wiper blade type thing that you can use to wipe your visor with, but for the most part, when you're riding along, there's really nothing you can do. Your visibility is severely reduced, so obviously you're going to have to be a lot more careful. Now, obvious things there is leave plenty of room between you and other traffic. Generally just ride slower, not too slowly obviously, because you can get yourself in just as much danger riding too slowly as you can too fast, but certainly ride with more caution than you otherwise would. So what else have we got that's a problem? Well, another obvious one is the road surface itself. Being wet, it's obviously not going to be quite as grippy, and certain surfaces are going to be worse than others. Now, especially for motorcycles, painted white lines can be a bit of a nightmare, so particularly on zebra crossings and things like that, these white painted bits can get quite slippery. So that's another thing to be careful of. Another obvious thing is drain covers, any sort of metal surfaces, things like that, because they just don't have the same grip as normal black tarmac. So you're going to have to obviously watch out for those. And then the next thing that you have to consider is that the chances are you're going to be uncomfortable. Now, I'm actually alright today. I always keep a set of waterproof trousers in the bike just in case it starts raining, so I'm relatively comfortable right now. I still have the visibility problem, I still have to be careful of the road surface, but from a comfort point of view, I'm quite comfortable. Now, this is quite important, because if you're uncomfortable, you're not going to be concentrating as much on the road as you should be, because a part of your brain is going to be thinking about the fact you're uncomfortable, and that does cause a problem. That does sap some of your concentration, so you've got to bear that in mind. So what can we do about that? Well, unfortunately not an awful lot. I mean, if you go out and it's going to be a sunny day and you don't necessarily pack waterproofs or something and it just starts raining, you're not prepared for it, so you can't really avoid being uncomfortable so much. What you can do though is avoid too long a journey. So if you know you've got to do a long journey and you're going to be uncomfortable, plan plenty of stops, because it's not so bad on short journeys because you can just about keep your concentration up, but if you have to, you know, if you're doing a long journey and you're uncomfortable, the longer you're going for, the more you being uncomfortable is going to weigh on your mind, and the more it's going to distract you. So, you know, plan for that. Like, you know, make regular stops, dry yourself off, and that kind of thing. Or just, if possible, like I say, the best course of action, especially if you're doing a long journey, is just shelter somewhere until the rain actually stops, because you really don't want to get too uncomfortable on a bike for that reason. I mean, obviously some bikes are better than others. You know, if you've got yourself a scooter, or if you've got yourself like a fully fed touring bike, you do get a degree of weather protection. You're still going to get wet, there's no getting around it, but it will protect you a lot more than this will, which has, you know, this has absolutely nothing. I just get everything. In fact, my legs are quite dry at the minute. I'm wearing my leather jacket and my top half's quite dry, but my feet, I'm only wearing trainers, and I can just now feel the water trickling into my toes. So there you go. But it's a warm day today. I mean, it is still summer technically, so you know, I'm still quite warm and comfortable. So yeah, now that's if you get caught out in the rain. If you say for instance motorcycle is your only form of transport, you've got to get to work and it's meant to be a bit of a shitty day, what can you do to prepare yourself for the rain? Well, as I said before, I always have a pair of waterproof trousers with me anyway. The other thing is obviously, you know, waterproof oversuits. Another good thing actually, which I do have for this bike, is those, you know, those mitten things that they have on some bikes in the winter. They're kind of like got a fleece inside to them, but they've also got a waterproof outside to them, so they do help keep the rain off of your hands. I mean, yeah, I know they do look ridiculous, but to be honest, I'd rather look a bit goofy and be comfortable than, you know, be uncomfortable just to look cool. So there's that. What else can you do? To be honest, the problem is, it's a bit of a difficult one, because you can spend all the money in the world on waterproofs, and they will only keep you dry for a short amount of time. On a motorbike, because you're going along and the rain's hitting you at force, eventually, you know, as I said, you can have the most expensive gear in the world, and eventually you're just going to get wet. There's no avoiding it. So hence why I say avoid, if you can, long journeys, because you will get wet anyway. And speaking of spending a lot of money on waterproof gear, I would recommend that you don't. In my experience, because I've not spent tons of money on the stuff, but I've certainly had a pair of waterproof trousers that cost about 40 quid, and another pair that cost me about a tenner. And to be perfectly honest, the pair that cost me about a tenner actually did a better job. So I'm not saying that's always the case, but it's just one of those things where it's not worth necessarily spending a great deal of money on, because it's not going to afford you much of an advantage. So yeah, there you go. I think that's about it. It's just really mainly about adapting your driving to the situation, because you know that the road isn't going to be quite as grippy. You know that you've got to look out for drain covers and stuff, and give yourself a bit more braking distance between the vehicle in front. It's common sense stuff, but it's just actually implementing it, because a lot of people, it's the same with bikes as it is with cars. If you've got a bike that's got, you know, advanced ABS and traction control, and it's quite a big thing, so a lot of these bikes, they do install a lot of confidence in you, but the danger of that is people think, well, because the bike's so good, I can rely on the bike and I don't need to change my driving style. But the thing is you still do. It doesn't matter what you're riding, you still have to adapt to the weather conditions. And most people know that, and most people are, you know, pretty on the ball. But, you know, if you're a new rider watching this, or if you generally just are not used to riding in bad weather, that's my advice for you. Just, you know, stop, think, adapt to the weather conditions, keep yourself as comfortable as you can, you know, as possible anyway, and you know, make your journey as short as you can, and if you possibly can, take a car or avoid riding at all. So yeah, there you go, that was it, the first tips and tricks video for the bad weather season, sorry, bad weather playlist. I will have some more of these coming up soon. I aim to actually record them in the weather conditions, so obviously I'm not going to be recording the driving in cold and icy conditions until the middle of the winter when it is actually cold and icy. But I will be adding to the playlist as and when I get these videos recorded, so there we go. In the meantime, do please go check out my other videos. There's my general motor vlog, there's reviews, collaborations, all sorts of weird and wonderful things, so go check those out. If you did happen to like this video, please do give it the old thumbs up. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. And yeah, as always, if you do have any comments, any bits that you think I've missed that are worth mentioning, any requests, that kind of thing, do pop them in the comment section below. And for now, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, whatever it may be, and catch you guys again soon.